Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let me ask you something that might make you a little uneasy for a moment. Have you ever been close to a woman, felt her body tense, and instantly wondered what it meant? That tiny change, that sudden stiffness, or the way her breath shifts tells you far more than words ever could. Because a woman's body, it never lies. Today, I'm going to show you what her tension truly reveals. And trust me, once you understand it, you'll never look at her the same way again. Before we dive deeper, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the bell. Because what I'm about to share isn't surface-level dating advice. It's psychological truth. When a woman's body tightens around you, whether it's her posture, her jawline, or the way her shoulders suddenly lift, it's not always about fear or rejection. Sometimes it's about emotional exposure. You've touched a nerve she doesn't fully understand yet. Her body reacts before her mind catches up. Women are wired to protect themselves, not just from physical danger, but from emotional vulnerability. Her tension can mean she feels something powerful, something that threatens her sense of control. You see, when a woman is around a man she doesn't care about, she stays relaxed, detached, distant. There's no emotional charge. But when she's around someone who makes her heart race, her body betrays her. A flicker of tension might show she's nervous about how much she feels. Her body tightens, not because she wants to push you away, but because she's afraid of what she might reveal if she doesn't. Most men misread this. They assume she's uncomfortable or losing interest, but often it's the opposite. She's fighting her own emotions. Her subconscious is screaming, "Don't let him see how much he affects you." That's the moment where attraction and vulnerability collide. The secret most men never realize is this. A woman's tension around you can be the body's confession of emotional intensity. It's her unspoken way of saying, "You're getting under my skin." Learn to read that language, and you'll understand her far deeper than words ever could. Now, let's go even deeper, because this is where most men completely miss the signs. That subtle tightness in her body, the way her hands might curl slightly, or her legs shift without her realizing it is not random. It's her subconscious communicating with you, revealing how she's processing attraction, curiosity, and even fear all at once. Women are experts at masking emotion, but their body cannot lie. Her tightness is a roadmap if you know how to read it. Here's something most men never hear from anyone. Tension is not just about being nervous or shy. It's a signal of interest mixed with a self-protective instinct. When a woman tightens around you, her subconscious is saying, "I want to feel close, but I'm afraid of losing myself in the process." Every flicker, every micro adjustment is her body testing the waters, gauging if she can trust you with more than just conversation. Notice how she reacts when you lean in slightly, when your energy shifts toward her, when your gaze lingers. A tiny stiffening of her muscles, a sudden breath hold, or a shift in her hips. These are her body's way of negotiating boundaries while also acknowledging attraction. Most men don't notice because they're focused on words, but the truth is, her body is speaking louder than anything she says. If you learn to interpret this correctly, you start seeing the patterns that reveal whether she's intrigued, guarded, or silently craving connection. And here's the kicker. Her tightness often appears in moments of high emotional risk. Maybe you said something bold. Maybe you touched her hand lightly. Or maybe your presence alone sparked a feeling she can't name. Her body tightens because she is being pulled in two directions, drawn toward you and cautious of being too vulnerable. This is where emotional tension becomes erotic tension without ever needing to cross any line. Most men panic in these moments, misreading it as rejection. But the most powerful thing you can do is recognize it as fascination. That tension is her body acknowledging that she feels something significant, something she can't yet control or fully articulate. And once you grasp that, you begin to see the female mind as a landscape of signals, not just words, and her body as the map leading straight to the truth of how she feels about you. This is where psychology meets attraction, Every tiny shift matters, and every subtle reaction is a clue. Learn to watch, learn to feel, and learn to interpret, because understanding this is what separates men who are invisible from men who are unforgettable. Let's talk about the moment most men completely overlook, the pause, that tiny hesitation when she moves, when she smiles, or when she laughs lightly. It's not random, it's her body signaling internal conflict. She's drawn to you, yet she's evaluating every instinct she has about safety, trust, and desire. That pause, that subtle tightness, is a window into her psyche. If you can learn to notice it, you'll see her attraction long before she ever admits it. Here's a truth many men fail to grasp: women rarely show their emotions openly. Their tightness is not discomfort, it's concentration, curiosity, and anticipation all rolled into one. When she subtly pulls her arm closer or her shoulders lift just a fraction, she's unconsciously regulating her energy, trying to measure how close she can let you get without losing control. And here's the part most men don't understand: that tension isn't a rejection, it's an invitation. Her body is giving you clues about her emotional state before her lips even speak. You need to see this like reading a map. Her body movements, the micro tension in her muscles, the shift of her weight, each is a breadcrumb leading to her true feelings. If you're observant, you'll notice that when she feels safe, some of that tension melts away, replaced by subtle openness, a softer jawline, relaxed hands, a gentle lean in your direction. That's her telling you without words that she's receptive to you, that the emotional walls you sensed are starting to come down. But here's where most men ruin it. They react too quickly. They assume her tightness is disinterest, or they overstep because they misread the signal. The smartest move is patience. Let her body guide the pace. Let her tension soften naturally. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her tightness will shift into subtle closeness, the kind that feels electric and magnetic without a word spoken. This is why understanding her body language is more powerful than any pickup line or charm tactic. Her microsignals tell you who she trusts, who intrigues her, and who can get under her skin emotionally. You'll start noticing patterns, moments when she unconsciously leans in, when her breathing changes, when her eyes linger just a second too long. That's her subconscious speaking directly to you, revealing desire, curiosity, and connection before she ever allows her words to catch up. If you pay attention, these signals become undeniable. They separate men who remain invisible in a woman's life from men who leave an impression that lingers. And that, my friend, is where true attraction begins. Now, let's uncover one of the most misunderstood aspects of female body language: the way her tightness reveals not just attraction, but trust. Most men think intimacy is about words, touch, or time spent together, but it's really about her body signaling comfort or the lack of it. When a woman tightens around you, she's not just reacting to what you do physically. She's reacting to how safe she feels, revealing her inner world. Every slight tension in her posture, every subtle pullback of her shoulders is a measure of how much she's willing to expose emotionally. Here's what most men miss entirely: trust isn't binary. It's measured in tiny increments through her body's responses: a relaxed hand, a softened jaw, a slow blink. These are signals that her subconscious is opening the door, even if she hasn't said a single word. Tightness, on the other hand, shows hesitation. She's evaluating whether giving in emotionally will leave her vulnerable. And this hesitation is not rejection. It's her way of negotiating safety while feeling a magnetic pull toward you. Think about it like this: when she's around men she doesn't feel connected to, her body stays neutral, almost mechanical. But with a man who triggers genuine interest, her body becomes alive with subtle cues. Her tightness, her micro shifts, even her breathing changes. They all tell a story. It's her body's language of "I'm curious, I'm intrigued, but I'm cautious." That's the moment where attraction and emotional risk collide. And if you understand this, you gain a unique advantage insight into her feelings before she even verbalizes them. And here's the psychological nuance that changes everything. Women's bodies are wired to protect first and reveal second. That means when she tightens, it's a sign that she's aware of her emotions before fully accepting them. A skilled man doesn't panic or misread this as disinterest. He observes, he respects the boundaries her body sets, and he lets tension naturally transform into openness. When you allow her body to lead, you gain not only her trust, but the depth of attraction that comes from emotional safety. This is why understanding body tension is revolutionary. Every tiny adjustment, every subtle stiffening is a window into her subconscious, a glimpse at how she balances curiosity, desire, and caution. The men who see it clearly can respond in a way that draws her closer without pressure. Those who don't, they remain invisible, missing the silent signals that could have revealed her true feelings all along. Once you start recognizing these patterns, every encounter becomes a map, one that tells you exactly how she feels and how much she's willing to risk emotionally. And that ultimately is the real secret most men never learn. Here's where most men completely fail. They see her tightness and panic. They assume rejection, overthink their every move, or try to force a response. But the truth is, her subtle tension is often the strongest indicator that she's deeply affected by you. It's her body signaling that something about you matters, something she can't easily ignore or control. That's why understanding these signs separates ordinary men from those who become unforgettable. Let's break it down. When a woman's body tightens, it's rarely about discomfort in the conventional sense, it's about emotional activation. Her heart, her mind, and her subconscious are all reacting to you simultaneously. She might smile, she might laugh, but that micro tension in her shoulders or her jaw, that's honesty. Her body is telling you she's intrigued, even if she's not ready to admit it verbally. This is a language most men never learn to read, and that's why they remain invisible while others capture her attention effortlessly. Another layer to this is anticipation. When a woman's body tightens, it often precedes a release, a relaxation that comes only when she feels emotionally safe and connected. That tightening is not resistance, it's preparation. It's her way of testing the waters, of allowing herself to feel something powerful while still maintaining some control. The man who understands this doesn't rush her or misinterpret the tension as disinterest. He observes, matches her energy, and responds in ways that invite her to let go naturally. That's where true connection happens, not through words or grand gestures, but through understanding the subtleties of her body. Here's the key psychological insight. Her tightness is never random. It's influenced by attraction, curiosity, and the subconscious evaluation of whether you're trustworthy. When you recognize that, you gain a lens into her inner world. You can see the invisible boundaries she sets, the micro signals of desire, and the emotional patterns that most men overlook entirely. You start to understand her without needing her to explain. And that is a rare skill that immediately elevates your presence in her eyes. And this is where transformation occurs. The men who notice, who truly see the small shifts, become magnetic. They don't chase, they don't beg for attention. They respond intelligently to the silent communication of her body. Because once you understand that her tightness is a map of her emotional state, you can navigate it with precision, patience, and subtlety, turning curiosity into trust, tension into attraction, and uncertainty into genuine connection. This isn't theory, it's psychology in motion, a way to read the signals most men overlook and turn them into power. That power is subtle but irresistible, and once you grasp it, you'll never interact with women the same way again. Now, let's reveal the final truth that changes everything. A woman's tightness is not just a signal of attraction or caution, it's a mirror of how she experiences you emotionally. Every shift, every micro tension, every subtle adjustment is a reflection of the impact you have on her subconscious. The stronger the effect, the more pronounced the tension. And the more you understand it, the more you can guide the connection without forcing it, without words, without pressure. Here's something almost no man ever realizes. When a woman tightens, she's giving you a test, not a conscious one, but a subconscious measure of how safe, confident, and aware you are. If you misread it, you risk tension turning into distance. But if you respond correctly, with patience, subtle cues of reassurance and emotional intelligence, that same tension transforms into intimacy, curiosity, and desire. It's the body's unspoken way of letting you know, I feel something here, but I'm watching to see how you handle it. This is why most men fail in relationships without even knowing why. They see tension and react with impatience, frustration, or overeagerness, missing the point entirely. The right man sees it, feels it, and allows it to guide his actions. He matches her pace, acknowledges her subconscious boundaries, and turns the tension into comfort. In doing so, he unlocks a level of attraction most men can only dream of, because he's communicating on a deeper psychological level that transcends words. Think of her body as a language with subtle gestures, tightness, and micro shifts as the alphabet. Once you learn to read it fluently, you understand her better than most men ever could. You see where she's hesitant, where she's intrigued, and where she's ready to connect. You notice the small signals before they manifest as words, actions, or decisions. And that insight gives you an invisible edge, a quiet, undeniable influence over her emotions and interest. So here's the takeaway. Never dismiss her tightness. Observe it, respect it, decode it. Learn the story her body is telling you about trust, attraction, and curiosity. The men who succeed are not the loudest, the fastest, or the boldest. They are the ones who see the unspoken, understand the hidden, and respond with intelligence and subtlety. Once you grasp this, every interaction becomes clearer, more meaningful, and far more powerful. Her body will reveal what her words cannot, and you will hold the key to interpreting it. The ultimate insight into female psychology that separates ordinary men from unforgettable ones. Master this, and you never look at connection the same way.